Hello children, it is Henry NWR 1911 here, and I am coming at you with an interesting type of video, so make sure to subscribe because I said so. So I'm sure some of you might be familiar with this series called by MomShagger420 called The Very Best of the Worst of Thomas and Friends. Basically, it's a series where they watch Thomas DVDs that aren't exactly the best, and then after they watch each one, they rank them on the list. Here are all the DVDs they've reviewed so far, and their ranking, I'm going to play a clip from their video. I'll link their channel in the description, but their ranking goes somewhat similar to this.
At the top of the list, we have Make Someone Happy. We agreed to that?
Yep.
Then it is New Friends for Thomas.
Yep.
Followed by Percy Saves the Day.
Yep.
Thomas's Snowy Surprise.
Yep.
James Learns a Lesson.
Yeah.
Steamies versus Diesels. Percy's Chocolate Crunch.
Yeah.
And James and the Red Balloon.
Now, obviously, I heavily disagree with their ranking, so I'm going to be giving my own interpretation of their ranking, and I'm going to explain why. So here is my ranking from worst to best. The worst is Steamies vs. Diesels, and I consider James Learns a Lesson to be the best. Now, I know some of you are probably asking, what kind of paranormal shit have you gone through, Henry? Why do you rank them like this? Well, I'll explain. Worst off, the worst one is Steamies vs. Diesels. Now, I feel like Thomas and Tugsman, even though we disagree on some things on Twitter, because, it's Twitter, he puts this release in the best way possible. If I'm trying to defend Michael Brandon, I will state this release, but the lack of content drags it down, because there's only 4 fucking episodes. What good is that? I'll explain my thoughts on these episodes when I get to them, but Rescue and Squeak, Rattle, and Roll are good, Wishing Tree is a mixed bag, and Percy's New Whistle is shit. But the bonus features are really cool, I'm not gonna lie, they're actually really good. And on the VHS, the fact that they list the songs and more makes me believe that the hit knew their release was hella lacking and, for whatever reason, decided to promote the songs and more as if it's a better value. But only 4 episodes, one of them being complete shit, just drags this release down. And let's put narration out of the question, because while I personally like Baldwin in Season 6, I think Unlucky Tug puts it pretty well. I think that Brandon in Season 8, at least, is a little bit better. Next on the worst list is Percy Saves the Day, and again, as these people explained, everyone says, what's the matter with Henry, Old Bridge, and Trusty Rusty are piss-poor episodes. And they are. What's the matter with Henry is needlessly mean-spirited. Henry didn't do anything to deserve what he goes through in the episode. And the Old Bridge, the moral thing is just a lazy way to excuse a piss-poor episode, honestly. The Old Bridge is terrible. And Trusty Rusty, character regression in the driver, or basically being Duncan's hand and removing the sign. How the fuck was he not fired? Yeah, it's a decent release, but it's held back a lot. Next up is James and the Red Balloon. Now, I'm gonna be honest, outside of Edward the Very Useful Engine and Rusty Saves the Day, I like it. James and the Red Balloon is goofy but fun. Twin Trouble is a wholesome story that, actually feels relatable for many people. World's Strongest Engine, Henry's spiritual finale in the classic series, and my favorite Season 6 episode, Duncan is kind of predictable but funny. But the narration, not exactly the best. Baldwin doesn't give Donald and Douglas Scottish accents, and that's fucking sinful. And that's kind of where it goes. If I had to give them scores out of 10, I'd give Steamies vs. Diesels a very generous 6. I guess a 6. I give Percy Saves the Day a 6-2. And I give Red Balloon a 7, but I'm not going to lie, this bonus content is great. We're getting a little bit better here with Thomas's Snowy Surprise. Now, out to you people who said how nothing It's Only Snow is, yeah, the snowplow breaking and Thomas being able to push through snow part's unrealistic, but I'm gonna be honest. I don't care. Thomas's characterization is admirable. Season 5 to 6 Thomas is peak Thomas. Like, he's a cheeky little shithead at times, but, he's mature, somewhat irritable, but will put others first. That's why it's a great episode. Jack Frost, it's goofy and oofy and kind of silly, but at the same time, Percy's savage side in the end, where he's like, yeah, he also knows you ran away, is genuinely perfection. You guys understand Toby Had a Little Lamb pretty well, and Snow is actiony and lovely, but the fact it reuses 3 older episodes, and there's only 3 new ones, kind of drags it down in the season 6 pile of releases, although it's a decent release overall, and clearly I love the hell out of it. Next on the list is Make Someone Happy. It's only the worst season 5 release. Like, I'm gonna be honest, Make Someone Happy is kind of just a things just happen episode, but the banter with Thomas and James is fun. Same with Happy Ever After, is funny. Trouble with Trees and Big Surprise for Percy are great episodes, and Thomas and the Rumors is great too. It's a decent release. I'd give Snowy Surprise like an 8, and I'd give Make Someone Happy like an 8.5 out of 10. Like, that's how I look at it, okay? Coming further on is New Friends for Thomas, the only Michael Angelis release. Love it. Now, all the newbie episodes, Odes, Gordon and Spencer, Emily's New Coaches, Spotless Record, all those are great. And the only problem I have with Emily's New Coaches and Spotless Record is the Thomas not liking the new character trope is kind of annoying in Emily's New Coaches. And the Spotless Record, Thomas's character regression is pretty jarring and kind of holds the episode back, but it's still good. The new characters clearly had potential, and it sucks that outside Spencer and Emily, nothing more was done with them. And the Jack in the Pack 2-parter, to anyone who says season 6 is worse than 7, I tell ya, what season 7 episodes have a character arc that is better than Jack's in these 2 episodes? You can't tell me. This one also gets an 8.5 out of 10. Now we're getting on to a really good one. I love Chocolate Crunch. It's genuinely fun. So, I give this one an actual 9. Percy's Chocolate Crunch. If you love season 5, I Fed Up with Life Percy, then obviously you're probably gonna like Chocolate Crunch. Percy's fed up with life, he's grumpy, all that jazz, and he gets into a wacky crash. Thomas, Percy, and the Squeak, Thomas and Percy bickering, it's pretty fun. Gordon takes a tumble, you know why it's great. I mean, Buffer Bother is kind of shit, but at the same time, I'd much rather watch it over the old bridge on here, because, like, Bill and Ben aren't out of character, they're petty assholes, and of course they'd argue about stupid shit like that. So, yeah. We'll talk about Middle Engine later, but I don't think it's that bad. We'll talk about Middle Engine when I review this release, and Faulty Whistle is good. And at the top of the list is James Learns a Lesson. yeah. I mean, it's kind of a little dull at times, but it's charming. It's classic Thomas. James's actual character development and trucks are just a natural part of every engine's life and development. And so, yeah, Thomas and the Guard is the only one that's just kind of it's just kind of there. But, yeah, it's just a classic, charming episode. Ringo's narration is lovely. It's essential if you don't already have the earlier season 1 set. So, going from worst to best, the worst is Steamers vs. Diesels. Fuck you. Ew, or kinda not really. Fuck you, Percy Saves the Day, or not, I guess. And you're fine. You're cool. cool, and you're all cool. So, I'm going to put the text on screen. Best and worst. That's going to be my thumbnail. And if any people from the very best of Tom and worst of Thomas and Friends and series are watching this, let me know what you think about my rankings of the releases you watched down in the comments below, and feel free to tell me why they're completely right. I will see you guys in the next one.